What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and the OnePlus 7 Pro is finally official. We've got it in hand, and I know a lot of you guys want to see how it stacks up against what's arguably the current flagship king on the Android side, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Well, we're going to be breaking down all of the key differences SuperSaf style. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Use the link and code word in the description below to get 75% off plus an additional month free. Now initially, let's start off with the build and design. Honestly speaking, if both of these devices were flat on a table, like so, you might not even be able to tell which is which, and that is because OnePlus have now adopted the dual curve design that we've seen on Samsung devices for quite some time. So we've got a metal frame with curved glass panels on the front and back. Now, I gotta say both do look really, really nice, but of course this is gonna come down to your personal preference. I know a lot of people do prefer a flat display. Now the S10 Plus, however, does have an official IP68 water and dust resistance rating. The OnePlus 7 Pro does not, although it's supposed to be somewhat water resistant. OnePlus, in their usual style, did post a teaser of the OnePlus 7 Pro being dipped into a bucket of water, claiming that they didn't want to spend money on an IP rating, so they just bought a bucket instead. It was kind of received with mixed opinions. So the 7 Pro should be okay for a splash, but it doesn't have an official rating. The S10 Plus also comes in more color options. You've only got 3 color options on the OnePlus 7 Pro. And the S10 Plus is also available in a couple of ceramic versions. These are going to be more durable. Now looking at the difference in size, the 7 Pro is a little bit larger compared to the S10 Plus. It also weighs a little bit more, and that does partly come down to the displays. The OnePlus 7 Pro does have a larger 6.67-inch display compared to the 6.4-inch display on the S10 Plus. And this is where things get really interesting, because traditionally Samsung devices are usually the best in the market, but I gotta say OnePlus have definitely packed a punch this year. Firstly, when it comes to screen to body ratio, we do have a higher screen to body ratio on the OnePlus 7 Pro, and that is because we don't have any front facing cameras within the display area. The S10 Plus does have a dual punch out for the front facing cameras. Now I have gotten used to the dual punch outs on the S10 Plus, and it's something that you do tend to ignore after a bit, but when it does come to design itself, having no punch out whatsoever is of course better from a visual point of view, and the OnePlus 7 Pro does look absolutely stunning. Now it doesn't just stop there. Both devices do have OLED technology. We've got dynamic AMOLED on the S10 Plus. We've got fluid AMOLED on the OnePlus 7 Pro. What is fluid AMOLED, I hear you ask? Well, we've actually got a 90 Hz refresh rate on the OnePlus 7 Pro. I believe this is one of the first, if not the first, non-gaming smartphone that has such a high refresh rate, and I gotta say, it looks beautiful. Things are really smooth, and I think OnePlus have done a really, really good job with the display here. Both devices also support HDR10 Plus technology, and they have a Quad HD Plus resolution, and I gotta say these are some of the best displays in the market. But the OnePlus 7 Pro does get the advantage because of that high refresh rate, which I'm super excited about, as well as that amazing screen to body ratio. Now, they've been able to achieve this because the front-facing camera is not a punch-out like you've got on the S10 Plus. It's actually a motorized pop-up camera, which pops up whenever you need to use it. In terms of durability, of course, we're gonna have to do lots of testing. We're gonna have to see how this fares over time. Now internally, both of these are packing the latest and greatest. We've got the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 processor on both devices, but depending on your region, you may be getting Samsung's Exynos 9820 processor. In my experience, I have found that the 855 is more power efficient, and I do prefer that processor. And for RAM, the 7 Pro comes with a base of 6 GB, but you can get up to 12 GB of RAM. The S10 Plus comes with a base of 8 GB, and you can also get up to 12 GB of RAM. So in terms of speed and performance, I don't think you can have any problems with either of these. These are some of the fastest devices out there. But things do get interesting when we come to storage. The S10 Plus does have more storage options. You can get up to 1 TB, which is insane. The 7 Pro only goes up to 256 GB. However, it is using UFS 3.0 storage, which is quite a bit faster compared to what we've got on the S10 Plus. Now the Samsung Galaxy Fold also has UFS 3.0, but the S10 Plus does not. So the OnePlus 7 Pro does get an advantage here. However, you cannot expand the storage on the OnePlus 7 Pro. On the S10 Plus, you do have a micro SD card slot, so you can expand your base storage. and you also get the higher 1TB option. Now let's move on to the cameras. We've actually got a very similar triple camera setup on both devices. There's a primary camera, there's an ultra wide, and then there's a telephoto camera. However, there is some key differences. So the primary camera, the S10 Plus, has 12 megapixels and it's got a variable aperture. It's going to switch between f1.5 and f2.4 depending on the lighting you're seeing. The OnePlus 7 Pro has a 48 megapixel primary camera and this has an f1.6 aperture. Now that's a lot of pixels, but to get the most out of the camera, you will be shooting generally at around 12 megapixels, and that's where you're going to be getting the best software processing. For the ultra wides, both are 16 megapixels with an f2.2 aperture, but the S10 Plus is slightly wider with a 123-degree angle of view versus 117 on the OnePlus 7 Pro. And then the telephoto cameras, the S10 Plus has 12 megapixels and it's going to give you 2x optical zoom. The OnePlus 7 Pro is 8 megapixels, but it's going to give you 3x optical zoom. Now, I know a lot of you guys will want to see a SuperSaf style camera comparison between these two, and that is in the works. It's going to be coming in the next few days. If you want to see that first, then make sure you have subscribed and hit that bell icon so you don't miss it. Now, when it comes to the front-facing cameras, the S10 Plus actually has two front-facing cameras. The primary is 10 megapixels and the secondary camera is 8 megapixels, but it does look at depth information. So the S10 Plus actually does a really good job when it comes to front-facing portrait mode, and it does isolate your subject very nicely thanks to the depth information that the secondary camera captures. The OnePlus 7 Pro does have a high resolution, 16 megapixels with an f2.0 aperture, but it is just the single camera. Once again, we will be putting these side by side. One advantage that the S10 Plus does get is when it comes to video. So you've got up to 4K UHD recording from the front-facing camera, whereas you've got 1080p on the 7 Pro. So if you're somebody who likes to vlog, this may be an advantage to consider. For software, we've got Android Pie, but we do have skins on both of these. We've got One UI on the S10 Plus, and we've got Oxygen OS on the 7 Pro. Now I gotta say, these two are my favorite skins when it comes to Android. Both of them are very clean and very, very useful. One thing that I would say is, in my experience, you do get updates quicker on OnePlus devices compared to Samsung devices. That's traditionally been the case. Let's see if that changes. But generally speaking, I do like both of these a lot, and I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. They're very, very good skins. Now, let's look at the fingerprint scanners. Both devices have an in-display fingerprint sensor. The S10 Plus has an ultrasonic 3D fingerprint sensor. The OnePlus 7 Pro has an optical 2D fingerprint sensor. Now, in my experience, both of these are very, very fast and work really well, but the technology is superior on the S10 Plus. So if your finger's wet, it's still gonna work. This is not gonna work on the OnePlus 7 Pro. Now, one thing that I have noticed is that on the OnePlus 7 Pro, if the device is in standby and you tap here, nothing's gonna happen. You do have to wake the device first, either by picking it up and then pressing the fingerprint scanner, or by tapping to wake before you activate the fingerprint scanner. With the S10 Plus, even if the device is on standby, you can just press in this area and it's gonna unlock it right away. So it is always listening, whereas on the OnePlus 7 Pro, it does require that additional step. Not a big deal, but something that you should know. Now, moving on to audio, both devices do have stereo speakers. We've got one in the earpiece and one bottom firing. It's quite impressive that they've managed to get stereo speakers even with such small bezels. But the S10 Plus does have something that the OnePlus 7 Pro does not have, and that is a 3.5mm jack. Now, if a 3.5mm jack is important to you, that's something that might be quite appealing on the S10 Plus. This is something that we didn't have on the OnePlus 6T and we don't have on the OnePlus 7 Pro. For the batteries, we have similar sized batteries. The S10 Plus is slightly larger. Of course, usage is going to vary and we're going to have to do some more detailed testing to see which one of these lasts longer. But the OnePlus 7 Pro does come with Warp Charge 30. So this is 30-watt charging, which is faster compared to the wide charging that you've got on the S10 Plus. However, the S10 Plus does come with wireless charging. This is something that OnePlus have just not included. I'm not sure why. It would be nice to have wireless charging. It's something that I use a lot. The S10 Plus not only supports fast wireless charging, but it also supports wireless PowerShare. This is where you can use the S10 Plus to charge another device wirelessly. And it's very useful to charge accessories and things such as the Galaxy Buds. If you're traveling and you put this on charge, you can just place the earbuds on to here to charge it up. Now, before we conclude, a big thanks to our sponsor for this video, NordVPN. NordVPN is a great way to surf the internet securely with double data encryption, and they also offer unlimited bandwidth. Now, I've personally been using NordVPN for around a year now, and it's absolutely priceless when maybe you're on a plane or in a country where certain websites are blocked. And especially with Article 13 coming up, I think I'm going to be using it even more. They have over 5,000 servers in 62 countries. They don't log any of your data and have 24/7 customer support if you ever need assistance. SuperSaf viewers can get a massive 75% off a 3-year plan using the link in the description below with the code word SuperSaf. That's just $2.99 a month, plus you'll get an additional month for free, and they offer a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee, so you really have nothing to lose. And finally, looking at the price, the OnePlus 7 Pro is coming in quite a bit cheaper compared to the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. And although the OnePlus 7 Pro is slightly higher to what you normally expect from OnePlus, you are getting that amazing display and those additional cameras, which I think does justify the higher price. That's what I think anyway. What do you guys think? Definitely let me know in the comments below. As mentioned, there's going to be lots more coverage with the OnePlus 7 Pro, including a SuperSaf style camera comparison. If you want to see that first, then make sure you have subscribed and hit that bell icon so you don't miss anything. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV. I'll see you next time. And that does come down partly